Jamaicans always argue Kingston versus Montego Bay, but the most aggressive building boom right now is happening in neither. It's in a parish most people still think of as just waterfalls and cruise ships. We're talking about St. Ann. Before we break it down, hit like and subscribe so YouTube actually shows you more of these Jamaica deep dives instead of burying them. Because right now in St. Ann, you've got a 530-acre estate with over 1,000 homes already sold, Jamaica's first resort town high-rises going up in Ochi, and China Harbour clearing 740 acres near Mammee Bay for a development that could house 4,000 people. So in this video, we're asking, is St. Ann quietly becoming Jamaica's next real estate hub? And who is it really being built for? Let's get into it. For decades, St. Ann had one identity, the Garden Parish. Tourism Central, Duns River Falls, Dolphin Cove, Mystic Mountain. If you weren't on vacation, you probably weren't thinking about living there. But two things changed the game. First, infrastructure. The North-South Highway, completed in 2016, cut the Kingston to Ochi drive from about 2 hours to roughly an hour to an hour and a half, depending on traffic. That wasn't just convenient, it made commuting realistic. Suddenly, you could live in cool St. Ann and work in Kingston. Second, the Ian Fleming International Airport expanded to include international flights. With Ian Fleming International Airport now receiving international flights, Ochi is easier to access for visitors. From Ochi, it's roughly a 20-minute drive to the airport and under an hour to Kingston. And here's where it gets interesting. In August 2024, Proven Properties, one of Jamaica's leading developers, published analysis calling St. Ann a prime real estate investment destination. Their research showed property appreciation in areas like Priory and Drax Hall increased by as much as 60% over 8 years. 60% in 8 years. That's not slow and steady, that's a market heating up. Add tourism income, north coast location, cooler temperatures than Kingston, and beach access, and you've got the formula investors look for. And developers noticed. Big time. Let's start with what's already there. Because before we talk about what's coming, you need to understand what's already proven to work. Richmond Estate, 530 acres facing St. Ann's Bay. Started in 2006 by developer Elias Lee Issa with a $15 billion total investment plan. This isn't a small project. This is a multi-phase, multi-decade development designed to build about 1,600 homes across 400 acres. And here's the key stat, by 2021, they'd already sold over 1,000 units. Phase 1 was called the Palms, 356 3-bedroom units. Sold out. Phase 2 was Fern Court Apartments, 2-bed, 2-bath units at $25 million each. Sold out. Richmond has everything: infinity pool, clubhouse, gym, tennis courts, kids parks, jogging trails, 24-hour security. They even lease solar panels to homeowners. And residents get beach access, plus there's a full shopping center on site with a supermarket, pharmacy, hardware store, and restaurants. This is a self-contained community. You don't have to leave for basics. And get this, according to Business View Caribbean, 65% of buyers came from the Jamaican diaspora. Another 30% from Canada, with the rest from the US and UK. The locals buying? Mostly professionals from Kingston, doctors, lawyers looking for getaway homes on the north coast. Richmond proved something crucial: there's demand in St. Ann for large-scale, amenity-rich developments. And people will buy even at premium prices. That success didn't go unnoticed. But not everyone can afford Richmond's price point, so the government got involved. The vistas at Runaway Bay. Developed by the Housing Agency of Jamaica in the hills above Runaway Bay. This is a gated community with townhouses and detached bungalows on lots ranging from about 1,970 square feet up to 5,145 square feet. These aren't luxury villas. They're middle-income family homes, 2 to 4 bedrooms, built in 2022, with amenities like a gym, clubhouse, pool, and jogging trails. And units have been selling. You can find homes listed from the low $20 millions up to around $40 million Jamaican dollars, depending on size and finishes. Now here's the thing about government housing, it's not always smooth. Back in 2021, the Gleaner reported complaints from Vista's residents about defects, incomplete work, quality issues, delays getting titles. The development started under the Jamaica Economical Housing Project, funded by China Exim Bank, with Chinese firm Complant contracting to Jamaican firm Elegant Homes. There were management issues. The housing agency board chairman acknowledged inheriting problems when the new board took over in 2016. But despite those hiccups, people are still buying. Because even with quality concerns, the Vistas represents affordable homeownership in St. Anne for middle-income families. And that matters. It shows the market isn't just rich diaspora and Kingston doctors. There's local demand too. Now let's move upscale. While government and established developers laid the foundation, private developers saw opportunity at the luxury end. First, Bahari at Runaway Bay. Developed by Proven Properties in partnership with Skillix Development Limited. Their tagline? Paradise Found. This is lifestyle living, villas, townhomes, optional private pools, family-oriented community. Phase 1 was scheduled for completion in August 2024. This targets upper middle and high-income buyers who want resort-style living without living in a resort. Next, Palacio Rivera in Breadnut Hill, about 5 to 7 minutes from Ocho Rios. 3-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom villas in a gated setting with pool, clubhouse, jogging trails, gym, and even a river on site. Mountain views, sea views, infinity pool. Completion was targeted for January 2025. This is your hillside luxury tier. Elevation, privacy, views, exclusivity. And then there's Mahogany Hill Homes in Chester, just above Richmond Estate. Single-story, 2-bed, 1-bath starter homes with verandas, gardens, room to extend. About 1.5 kilometers from the North Coast Highway. Construction scheduled to begin 2025, running about 2 years. And off-plan sales started in 2024. People are buying homes that don't exist yet. That's confidence. But none of these projects compare to what's happening in Ocho Rios right now. Ocho Rios has been a tourism hub for decades. Hotels, resorts, cruise ships. But here's what it didn't have: modern residential high-rise apartments. Until now, Sol Harbour, developed by Proven Properties, 2 7-story towers on Cascade Way, right in the heart of Ocho Rios. This is the first new high-rise development in Ocho Rios town centre in almost 3 decades. Let that sink in. 30 years. Here are the numbers: 152 units total. 140 studios at about 620 to 676 square feet, and 12 2-bedroom apartments. Amenities: pool, clubhouse with gym, jogging trails, landscaped gardens, concierge in each lobby, 2 elevators per building, 185 parking spaces including basement parking. And views: studios overlook the Ocho Rios Harbour to the north and mountains to the south. National Commercial Bank finalized a $20 million United States dollars construction loan for this project in December 2023. Original completion target, December 2025. But here's the update. In July 2025, Proven Properties CEO Aisha Campbell announced the release of the final 15 studio units, with occupancy now projected for early Q1 2026. Why does this matter? Because Sol Harbour brings urban, vertical living to a resort town. Studios starting around $180,000 United States dollars to $200,000 United States dollars, with 2 bedrooms higher. This appeals to young professionals, retirees, diaspora buyers looking for vacation homes they can rent out short-term, and investors banking on Ocho Rios tourism. Peter Bunting, chairman of Proven Properties, said this is about leading the gentrification of our resort residential offerings. Translation: turning Ocho Rios from just a tourist stop into a place where people live year-round in modern apartments. If Sol Harbour succeeds and early demand suggests it will, expect more high-rises to follow. But Sol Harbour isn't even the biggest story in St. Ann real estate. Not even close. Now we talk about the project that could change St. Ann's entire demographic profile. China Harbour Engineering Company, CHEC. The same Chinese construction giant that built Jamaica's highways. They're not just building roads anymore. They're building a small city. The Mammee Bay development, 740 acres. Between the coastline near Mammee Bay and Roaring River. 740 acres. The plan, over 800 residences, mix of 3-bedroom homes and 1 to 2-bedroom apartments. Designed to house approximately 4,000 residents. 4,000 people, in one development, in St. Ann. According to the Environmental Impact Assessment published in January 2024, this land was originally conceived as a hotel or villa complex a decade ago. But the developers shifted focus. They decided the market and landscape were best suited for a mixed housing complex, which provided a range of housing solutions for a wider segment of the community. It's being built in 6 phases over 5.5 years. Expected timeline, start to finish, roughly 2024 to around 2030. CHEC has been planning this since 2014, when Portia Simpson Miller was Prime Minister. Now it's actually happening, but here's where it gets complicated. This land has deep historical significance. Parts of it are connected to the ancestors of national hero Marcus Garvey. His grandfather and family were reportedly enslaved on the Roaring River property. And environmentally, this is sensitive. The land sits on one of Jamaica's most important limestone plateaus and provides water for the hydroelectric plant at Laughing Waters and other areas. Activist Keru, who hosts Running African on IRI FM, launched a campaign called "Do Not Give the Roaring River Watershed to China." It gained over 6,000 online supporters. Her concern? That a 740-acre build-out near Roaring River could impact water quality, ecosystems, and cultural sites if not managed carefully. CHEC says they'll implement eco-friendly initiatives, green building practices, wastewater treatment, sustainable landscaping. But the question remains, can a project this large be done responsibly? And here's the economic angle. The St. Ann Chamber of Commerce, in January 2025, pointed to Mammee Bay as an example of successful investment projects creating jobs and enhancing St. Ann's economic fortunes. This is one of the largest residential developments in Jamaica. And it's not in Kingston. It's not in Montego Bay. It's in St. Ann. By 2030, if this delivers, Mammee Bay will be a residential zone with thousands of permanent residents and completely different infrastructure demands. Alright, let's zoom out. In one parish, St. Ann, you now have established large-scale community, Richmond Estate, 530 acres, 1,000 plus homes sold, proven diaspora demand. Government middle-income housing, the vistas at Runaway Bay, making home ownership accessible to local families. Private upscale communities, Bahari, Palacio Rivera, Mahogany Hill targeting upper-middle buyers and retirees. Urban high-rise living, Sol Harbour bringing apartments to Ocho Rios. City-scale mega project, China Harbour's 740-acre, 800-plus home, 4,000 resident Mammee Bay development. When one parish has that full spectrum, plus 60% property appreciation in 8 years, plus ongoing construction across multiple price points, it stops being just a tourist stop. It starts behaving like a real estate hub. Kingston is Jamaica's financial brain. Montego Bay is the tourism heart. St. Ann is starting to look like the real estate lab where the next version of Jamaica is being built. But that raises hard questions. Let's talk about who wins and who loses. Existing landowners near Runaway Bay, Mammee Bay, Ocho Rios seeing massive appreciation. If you bought land 5, 8, 10 years ago, you're winning. Developers obviously. Proven properties, Richmond, CHEC, Skillix, they're all capitalizing. Diaspora buyers who got in early. Construction companies, real estate agents, material suppliers. And yes, jobs. Construction employment, service jobs, retail expansion. The Chamber of Commerce confirmed successful investment projects in 2024 created jobs. But here's the harder question. What about young locals? If you're a teacher in St. Anne, a nurse, a small business owner, can you still afford to buy in your own parish? When property values jump 60% in 8 years and new developments target diaspora and upper-income buyers, people get priced out. The gated communities multiply. The distance between who can afford St. Anne and who can't widens. Then there's environment. A 740-acre development near Roaring River, a historically and ecologically sensitive area, carries risk, water quality, wildlife, watersheds. And there's culture. Land connected to Marcus Garvey's ancestors being turned into housing that's complicated. I'm not here to preach. But these are the questions we should be asking. Are we witnessing shared growth, or are we slowly turning key parts of St. Anne into gated islands inside the island? Is this development that lifts everyone, or development that benefits the few who can afford the entry price? If you think Jamaicans deserve to understand what's being built around them, not just see it after the fact, hit like so more people see this breakdown. And subscribe to Evolve Jamaica so you don't miss when we cover the next boom parish. Because these are conversations we need to have now, not after everything is built. So what to watch in 2026? Mahogany Hill construction scheduled to start 2025, run 2 years. Will it deliver? Sol Harbour completion now projected Q1 2026. How fast do those 152 units get absorbed? Do more high-rises follow? Mammee Bay progress. CHEC's timeline puts them in multi-year build-out mode. How do the early phases look? What's the environmental impact? What comes next? These aren't just developments, they're signals. They tell you where the money is going, where confidence is, and which parts of Jamaica are being positioned for the future. Kingston is Jamaica's financial brain. Montego Bay is the tourism heart. St. Anne is starting to look like the real estate lab where the next version of Jamaica is being built, one gated community, one high-rise, one mega housing project at a time.